Good morning, everyone. Parker Solar Probe, very much important. Have you heard about Parker Solar Probe? So Parker Solar Probe is the only probe or the spacecraft that you can say which has been able to reach near the sun. Okay, can't you imagine something going nearby the sun? If you see, sun is made up of huge amount of hydrogen and helium gases. The nuclear fusion is being carried on the sun. This nuclear reaction is being continuously carried on the sun, and in that process we cannot imagine something to go nearby it. But here, this Parker Solar Probe, it's being able to reach towards it has been able to reach through the outer atmosphere of the sun, that is the corona of the sun. But recently, if you see the Parker Solar Probe, it has came into news because not of the sun related things, of course. This is a longer mission, and it will give us information, more and more information in the upcoming days. But recently it has been in news because it has been able to give us information regarding the planet Venus. It has said that Venus also contains plains like our Earth, plateaus like our Earth, and even a layer of oxygen. So you can see it has been able to give a wide perspective. We are very much unknown regarding what is there in the Venus, because Venus is also very much hot. Okay, it's very difficult to take any kind of spacecraft there normally. So in spite of that fact, now this Parker Solar Probe, while going through our revolution for getting information about the sun, it has also been able to achieve the information regarding this planet, right? So if you see, the now the problem is that we have said that normal spacecraft, they will not be able to reach towards the sun because of all these things, because of the huge amount of temperature that the sun has. But if you ask, what is so special about this Parker Solar Probe that it is just on the verge of reaching the sun? Any idea? What is so special about this Parker Solar Probe? One thing is that this solar probe is made up of white sheet. Remember, this probe is made up of white sheet. When you make something out of this white sheet, it will easily help in reflection, right? When you are reflecting, that means the heat that should have been absorbed, that is getting reflected back. See what kind of mind people is having, right? People are having. So when you are putting a white sheet, and this white sheet mostly, not only this white sheet, but the majorly these components of this solar probe has been made up of carbon. Okay, it has been made up of carbon, and after that it gets reflected back. Apart from it, it also has its own cooling system. Okay, it has its own cooling system which will try to maintain a kind of normal temperature of the probe so that it can at least reach nearby the sun for getting information. So that's very important. Now if I have to show you how it has got information regarding the Venus. Okay, so as I have said, when it was launched from the Earth, it not only rotated towards the Earth, but also it got some kind of rotation. It made some kind of rotation nearby the Venus. So it made 7 kind of rotations towards the Venus, and these help us in retrieving the images and retrieving the information regarding this planet. Okay, so this is very important. So if you see, this is the sun. Okay, imagine this is the sun, then here Mercury, Venus, Earth. From here, from the Earth, it will be launched. Right, it will be launched from the Earth. Now, just look into this. In this way, the solar probe is creating its orbit, and as a result, it's also going nearby the sun, as well as it's creating its journey nearby the Venus. The Venus will also keep on moving, and based on that, whenever the Venus comes to this position, the solar probe is being able to retrieve the images. Are you being able to understand this GIF? How the probe is being able to retrieve the images, give images regarding the Venus. Once it's launched from the Earth, it will keep on moving. The Venus also keeps on moving. As the Venus comes here, it will get the information. And the best part is that you can see its orbit, it's gradually shrinking, right? It's gradually shrinking, and after some time it will shrink, and it will also give some kind of information regarding the Mercury as well, and gradually and finally it will revolve around the sun. This is how we will get a lot of information. Okay, so this is about the Parker Solar Probe. Next, EOS-04. EOS. What is EOS? It's the Earth Observation Satellite. EOS, or the Earth Observation Satellite, right? Or we can also say remote sensing satellite. Am I right? Remote sensing satellite, or the Earth Observation Satellite. And we discussed that majorly this remote sensing or Earth Observation Satellite, they are placed on the LEO, or the lower Earth orbit. Most of the time, it's not mandatory that every time they will be placed on the LEO, right? They can also be placed on some other orbits, but majorly they are placed on the LEO. This EOS-04, it is significant because it has been launched by ISRO, and if you count it from the perspective of 2020 to 2022, it's the first satellite launched by the ISRO for this year, and that too, it's also the first satellite under the chairmanship of S. Somnath. Right, because in the month of January, I think on 24th of January, S. Somnath took the chairmanship of the ISRO. Earlier, we had K. Shivan as the chairman. Under his guidance, lots of missions have been launched, isn't it? And EOS-04 is the first mission under the chairmanship of S. Somnath. And this EOS-04 is not only launched alone, but along with it, two small research-based satellites called as InspireSat-1 and INS-2DT. These also have been launched. And majorly, you need to remember that it has been launched with the help of PSLV. So do you remember about PSLV and GSLV, right? Very, very important. India has its own two rocket system, right? One is the PSLV and another is the GSLV. So please read about the differences. I have already discussed with you people, right? With some people, not with all, but majorly those who are giving the examination this year, for you people, very, very important. PSLV, GSLV, difference between both of this. What are the underlying things that are present in PSLV, isn't it? So please read it properly. All right. Okay. Now the thing is that these satellites have been injected or launched into the sun synchronous polar orbit. Sun synchronous, that means it's in synchronization with the sun. In whatever direction there will be the sun, the satellites will be moving on that basis. Sun synchronous orbit, in synchronization with the sun. It will never move out of the sun's space. So it will be towards, oriented towards the sun. And of course, it's obvious anything that is launched from India, anything that is launched from India, if you see, it's always launched from Sriharikota. Am I right? Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, it's launched from there. And therefore, we call that place as the spaceport of our country. Remember, we call that place as the spaceport of our country. Now, Earth observation or the remote sensing, as the name itself says, that means those satellites will help to visualize the Earth, right? They will help in the visualization of the things. So you can see it capture images for the agriculture, for forestry, flood mapping, soil moisture, hydrology. So normal image of the Earth. And also the best thing is that the images are of high quality and it can provide you in all weather condition. If the weather is not favorable, all right, even during that period as well, this EOS-04 can operate and can send you the images with high quality. Very, very important. All right, so you can see these are the main things. And apart from that, the two small satellites that have been launched, one is the INS-2 Diti, right? It's basically a satellite which will help to map or assess the temperature of the land and water surface. Okay, it helps to assess or analyze the temperature of the land and water surface. This is the main aim of this INS-2D. And the another small satellite is the InspireSat-1. And this InspireSat-1 will help to study the ionosphere. I hope you remember regarding the ionosphere. Am I right? I hope you have learned in geography the basic layers of the atmosphere, right? One is the ionosphere. So ionosphere study will be done with the help of the InspireSat-1. All right.